Following a gripping third round of the Six Nations Championship, the narrative arc of the 2026 campaign has shifted dramatically. Ireland roared back into contention. England's structural flaws were laid bare. Scotland rediscovered their steel. Italy showed admirable growth despite adversity. And France tightened their grip on what is increasingly becoming their title to lose. Here are 5 major lessons from a weekend that may ultimately define this championship. 1. Ireland's decline was greatly exaggerated. The pre-match narrative heading into Twickenham was ruthless. Ireland were supposedly over the hill, emotionally drained, too reliant on battle-worn stalwarts, and heading for a bruising defeat against an England side eager to respond after their Calcutta Cup setback. Critics questioned selection, form, age profile, and even hunger. But under Andy Farrell, Ireland have built a team that thrives when doubted. The decision to restore experience, including a controversial tight head selection and a 5-3 bench split without second-row cover, was viewed as a gamble. The handing of the number 10 jersey to Jack Crowley only intensified debate. Yet Farrell's faith in his core leaders proved decisive. The back row trio of Tadhg Beirne, Josh van der Flier, and Caelan Doris delivered a masterclass in modern test match loose forward play. Beirne once again rose to the occasion in a high-pressure fixture, combining breakdown menace with relentless defensive industry. Van der Flier returned to his abrasive, high-output best, while Doris looked every inch the world-class number 8 Ireland have missed at his peak. Behind them, the cohesion was striking. Gary Ringrose marshaled the defensive line intelligently. Stuart McCloskey provided gain-line punch, and the halfbacks controlled territory with authority. Ireland didn't just edge England. They steamrolled them. Even former captain Brian O'Driscoll admitted he was stunned by the manner of victory. It wasn't merely a win, it was a statement. Ireland looked energized, aggressive, and emotionally invested, as though the criticism had fueled rather than fractured them. Reports of their demise were not only premature, they were misplaced. Ireland are firmly back in the title race. 2. England's structural imbalance is a growing concern. If Ireland answer their critics, England amplified theirs. Steve Borthwick's men entered the tournament on a lengthy winning run and opened with a comfortable victory over Wales. But since then, familiar cracks have widened. Against Scotland, they were overpowered. Against Ireland, they were overwhelmed. The defensive system out wide has been repeatedly exposed, and the gain-line battle, still the foundation of elite test rugby, has been lost with alarming regularity. Borthwick's preference for mobility and breakdown speed in his back row selections has come at the cost of ballast and physical authority. Ben Earl continues to carry with intent, but the overall back 5 balance has looked off. Promising talents have been asked to shoulder enormous responsibility without sufficient heavy-duty support around them. In arm wrestle test matches, balance matters, and England's combination has lacked it. There are obvious tactical tweaks available. Reinforcing the second row to allow more physicality in the back row could stabilize collisions. Selecting a bruising carrier to complement athletic flankers would help regain parity at the contact point. Without front football, even experienced operators struggle. George Ford's performance at fly half illustrated that reality. While he made uncharacteristic errors, much of England's attacking stagnation stemmed from slow ball and limited go-forward. Territory and aerial pressure remain important modern weapons, but without dominance in collisions, they lose their bite. England are not a broken team, but they are an unbalanced one. And at this level, imbalance is ruthlessly punished. 3. Italy's progress is real, but depth still decides. Italy's 33-8 defeat in Lille does not tell the full story. Under Gonzalo Quesada, the Azzurri are visibly more structured, confident, and combative. Yet the gap between competitive and victorious remains defined by fine margins. In depth, France possess it in abundance. Italy, not yet. The Azzurri have been without several key figures in crucial positions, disrupting continuity and leadership. Although Ange Capuozzo returned and sparkled with typical unpredictability, the cumulative absence of experienced internationals across the squad is told. Michel Lamoureux, Manuel Zuliani, and Lorenzo Cannoni have been exceptional in the back row, offering work rate and physicality. The front row has also shown resilience. But Test rugby is often decided by the one-percenters, the marginal gains that accumulate through tactical accuracy, kicking reliability, and bench impact in that area. Italy are still developing. France can replace international quality starters with near equivalents. Italy's drop-off, while far smaller than in previous cycles, remains noticeable. That is no criticism. Depth is built over years, not months. Encouragingly, the trajectory is upward. Italy are no longer overwhelmed or naive. They are competitive, organized, and tactically aware. But to consistently topple the championship's elite, they must deepen their resources and convert narrow margins into results. The foundations are solid. The ceiling is rising. Patience will determine how high it ultimately reaches. 4. Winning is a habit, and momentum matters. Momentum in sport is intangible but undeniable. This weekend reinforced that truth emphatically. Scotland's dramatic comeback at the Principality Stadium was a masterclass in belief under pressure. For nearly an hour, Wales controlled proceedings. They won collisions, defended desperately, and executed territory intelligently. For a side that had endured a painful losing streak, it looked like catharsis was imminent. But winning and knowing how to close is a skill forged through repetition. Scotland, buoyed by their recent triumph over England, never panicked. They stayed within reach. Then came the decisive moment. A cleverly executed quick restart orchestrated by Finn Russell and Darcy Graham that shifted emotional momentum in an instant. From there, Scotland's composure surfaced. A driving maul sealed the turnaround. Wales played with heart. Scotland played with habit. That distinction is crucial. Teams accustomed to winning often find solutions in chaos. Those try to rediscover it sometimes hesitate at defining moments. Confidence accumulates. So does doubt. Scotland's belief now feels embedded. Wales' resilience is growing, but the psychological edge still eludes them. 5. France are in control, but pressure is mounting. If there is one team operating with authority above the rest, it is France. Fabien Galthier's side have blended flair with control, explosiveness with maturity. They dismantled Ireland and Wales earlier in the tournament, and even when Italy disrupted rhythm in Lille, the outcome rarely felt uncertain. France sit atop the standings with maximum points and hold the invaluable advantage of hosting on Super Saturday. Their depth allows rotation without significant decline. Their forward pack combines size with athleticism. Their backline blends structure with improvisation. Yet Grand Slams are rarely straightforward. Scotland, still mathematically in contention, carry emotional momentum and a point to prove. England, wounded and scrutinized, will be desperate to salvage pride and reassert identity. Both have the capacity to disrupt. France must now manage expectation. When a title becomes yours to lose, psychological weight increases. Execution tightens. Margins narrow. However, this French team appears better equipped than most to handle that burden. Their leadership spine is established. Their tactical framework is clear. And crucially, they have demonstrated the ability to win both comfortably and under pressure, that if they maintain discipline and physical dominance, the championship will likely end in Parisian celebration. But Test rugby rarely unfolds without turbulence. The final thoughts. Round 3 of the 2026 Six Nations reshaped the tournament landscape. Ireland reminded everyone of their pedigree, silencing doubters with a performance of controlled fury. England were forced into uncomfortable self-reflection about balance and power. Italy confirmed their evolution, even if depth remains a hurdle. Scotland showcased the value of belief and emotional momentum, and France tightened their grasp on the prize, though challengers still circle. With 2 rounds remaining after the fallow week, the championship is delicately poised. History suggests narratives can flip quickly. But if this weekend taught us anything, it is that reputations mean little once the whistle blows. Form can be rediscovered. Flaws can be exposed. Momentum can shift. And the cauldron of the Six Nations, habits, good or bad, are laid bare for all to see.